John Rooney. Welcome to the Ranveer Show.
Thank you.
How are you, good sir?
I'm very good, thank you very much indeed. It's been a pleasure to meet you yesterday when you came and joined my ghost walk.
Likewise, we didn't know that York even has these kind of experiences available, and we're not here as tourists, we're here for work. So we had booked a couple of other podcasts, but as we walked around York, we realized how much history and how much of the occult is present all around us.
Yes. York is reputedly one of the most haunted cities in the whole of Europe.
And would you say that the UK is probably one of the most haunted countries in the world?
Well, we're a very superstitious country. We've got fairy tales, goblins, elves, and all sorts of myths and legends, just as there are in the world, of course. But England is very haunted.
England is very haunted.
Yes.
Okay, I have a lot of questions for you, but let's begin with what the ghost walk feels like. I'll kind of describe it a little bit. You begin with a bit of a history on York as a city.
Yes.
How old is this city?
The city goes back centuries and centuries. If you talk about the period of Neolithic man, the river level they've found things at the river level that dates back to the prehistoric period. So we go through the history all the way through. And of course, we've got through all the different centuries since the 12th, 13th, 14th, 11th century, the Normans, the Vikings, we've got the Romans in York. It's big. The history of York is never ending.
You're a historian as well.
Oh yes, I know a lot about the history of the city because I combine the stories of history and ghosts, myths and legends within my walking tour that I do every night.
Do you think that there are tourists who visit York with the intention of seeking out ghosts or the occult?
Oh yeah, that's a fact. I get a lot of very serious people joining my ghost walk that are intent on hoping to see a ghost, or they're great believers in the supernatural, and people tell me their stories. The people tell me that where they live, they have ghosts, or they've seen ghosts, and they've had their own personal experiences with the supernatural.
But do you think there's people who want to take it one level deeper and actually deal with Ouija boards and things like that? Because, I'll tell you why I'm asking you this question. After visiting this city, I've realized how old it is.
Yes.
And if a city is this old, it probably means it has a lot of secrets and a lot of stories.
Yes.
And if it's got a lot of secrets and stories, chances are that the city has also seen a lot of suffering.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like we spoke about the bubonic plague briefly.
The bubonic plague, we've had the civil wars.
Yeah.
We've had battles. Oliver Cromwell took the city with his men, murdered thousands of people in the city when they broke through the medieval walls, We've had the Scottish. They never attacked the city. They came in quite friendly. But the city has got... In the medieval period, people were executed. They lost their heads. The heads were spiked on the city walls, on public display for the people. Guy Fawkes, very famous character, the man of gunpowder plot and treason who was going to blow up the Houses of Parliament in the 16th century. He got caught with 33 barrels of gunpowder. 7 of them, including himself, were executed in Westminster, London, and had their heads chopped off, and they were gutted while they were still alive, by the King's surgeon, and they never got forgotten. And so November the 5th every year, England celebrates the gunpowder plot story by lighting fireworks across the country and bonfires, which were obviously in the past, when we talk about the Catholics, the Protestants were taking the Catholics, and sometimes they were burning them alive on fires, or they were hanging them just for praying under the Catholic religion. So there's a lot of turmoil that's taking place, not just in York, but across the country. A lot of it has led to ghosts.
When you explore York as a tourist, you're kind of blown away by the art and culture, but there is also this little eerie heaviness that you feel.
Oh yes.
I personally, as a tourist, I seek out these kind of experiences because it kind of twists your perspective on what travel can be in a nice way.
Yes.
This city has dungeons as well, right?
Yes, there are dungeons around and about the city. There are tunnels underneath the city that belong to the Roman period. There are old sewers that run all through the city, which can be accessed by the Archaeological Trust. I've been down a small part of them. These tunnels are 1,600 years old. But if you went down there on your own and didn't mark your way, you'd get lost. You wouldn't find your way out.
That vast?
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. There are tunnels leading from churches to buildings, priest holes. There are priest holes in the city where the priests were hiding from the Protestants would hide in little rooms, and they'd have tunnels to escape if they thought they were going to get caught under the roads to a church where they could come up in the middle of the graveyard and run away so they didn't get caught and tried and executed. Yeah, the priest holes, there are hidden tunnels everywhere in the city of York.
Do you think they completely explode?
No, a lot of them have been totally untouched because a lot of them were filled in and blocked up by the people of the past, but they're still there.
Do you think they contain secrets?
Oh, definitely. Oh, there are secrets in York. There are things in York that have never been found. Probably things to do with the occult, probably things to do with just general history, hidden things, treasure. A lot of treasure hidden in the city, I'm sure. Loot, gold coins, money, all sorts. You're not allowed to metal detect in York within the city walls. For if you do get caught metal detecting, you're liable for a £4,500 fine just for going around with a metal detector.
This is one of the oldest cities in the world, right?
Well, I wouldn't say it was one of the oldest cities in the world, but you can class it as one of them, yes. Like London's an old city. Edinburgh's an old city. Well, Edinburgh's very famous for its ghost walks and for its ghost stories, and they've got an underground city that they found. That take the tourists into the old streets that are under Edinburgh, and they've got exclusive rights to that particular ghost walk. So they're making a lot of money because the other ghost walks can't get their hands on the key to the door. It'd be nice if I had something like that in York where I could take them under the city and have exclusive rights to a key. Then I'd get big crowds.
When you're here in this city, you feel a lot of old world charm. I would assume that Edinburgh is the same.
Yes.